Greetings and salutations, Nerders. This is Wolfphototech, and here we are with another delightful video. This time with the Warhammer Age of Sigmar 3rd Edition Dominion box, which is basically the 4th special starter box for Warhammer. It's the 4th starter box, and it's the first special box for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 3rd Edition. This is the equivalent to the Indomitus box for Warhammer 40k 9th edition. This is a big, beefy boy box. This contains a great deal of many Stormcast Eternals and Kruleboyz. There is a lot of models in this box. There's a beautiful red style design on it. And for whatever reason, when I put this back together, I set it upside down. You got the major stars for the box right here, as well as a display of a battlefield, a battle between said two factions, as well as an image in the other corner of the two books that come with it. So let's get started. First and foremost, as I said before, I've already opened this once before, so this is not really a first time unboxing, but this is a re-unboxing. I've yet to get through this box to paint it and build and paint. Yet again, I have a huge backlog of stuff to do. You have on the top a beautiful sheet of conflict between the two factions, as well as the standard red 3rd edition Age of Sigmar logo variant. Around the edge of the box, there is various units that are included in the box, as well as photos of variant heads or variant paint schemes for different storm hosts. In the top of the box, you see a lot of sprues. This box is literally a big old collection of sprues with a lot of fun stuff mixed in. It actually takes a great deal of effort and intelligence to actually design sprues to be highly efficient. People might wonder why there's all these big channels here, or sections between each sprue, like this track here. Now, that's very important when designing a sprue or a mold, that if you don't have ample channels for the plastic, metal, rubber, or whatever you're pumping into the mold, you get deformation or inadequate development of the model in which you're trying to produce. So it's really important to have those channels in there. However, I've seen people use these channels and make them into bricks for building walls for their battlefields. So even the leftover bits of plastic that you don't use, the channels, you can use those. And I've also known people who take the extra heads and they'll use the extra heads as the corpse bits for the battlefield. So you have little heads sitting on your bases and stuff like that from people that have died in combat. Another sprue. There is a lot of sprues in this big old box. Most of the sprues on top are mostly the lower tier chaffy Stormcast and Kruleboyz orcs. And as you go down through the box, you get into the bigger, more leader specialty units. You got this big old one right here. That's actually quite nice. That's your mount right there. Yeah, that's your mount. That big one right there. You got some more small ones with little topper pieces. This is for on top of your bases. And then you got your your special Stormcast, your top tier ones right here, your general. So this one is your general and your top tiers for Stormcast, and this one is your top tier boss for your Orc Kruleboyz. Some more Orc Kruleboyz. And then you have this piece right here, just like the other one. This is a protective intermediate piece between the book and the models, as you can easily poke some holes or damage your book or scratch your book if you don't have something between your models and your book. And right here we happen to have the War Scroll cards plus the starting book information, as well as right here is your collector book. I've actually opened it already to look at it and read it. And then behind this, because since I was a weirdo and put the book and everything upside down, you have this another piece of cardboard right here with artwork on it. And then on the side here, under these corners, is the bases for your various models. Same thing applies to... It's not on the other side. You have various bases for your models. So now I'm on to that part. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and start with the main book. There's a ribbon bookmark in here. Typically, in the case of Warhammer books, there'll typically be a ribbon bookmark. These books are typically printed in the United Kingdom. However, some of them are not. But anyways, you have beautiful artwork throughout this entire book. A huge content section in the front. A flavorful description of the Age of Sigmar 3rd edition settings and the basic history. Lots of artwork. I'm not joking. Lots of artwork in this book. It's to feed or give you a good feel of what's going on at the time in the Age of Sigmar and the setting of Age of Sigmar. Yet again, that artwork from the big sheets. Realms of War. You got various models and artwork. You got a section on painting and construction of your miniatures and what kind of tools you need. Open play, narrative play, matched play. The war unending, which is kind of an awkward way of saying that. Of course, I say everything awkwardly. The Age of Myth, which is the early times before. Origin stories for various things. It goes through, then it goes into the Chaos factions. You got the 4 major ones, and then you have a reference to the 5th one, which kind of supplanted the 4th one. Still over in the Chaos Demon section. And then it goes into Seeds of Hope, the Stormcast Eternals and such. And there's just tons and tons of artwork. The orders of the factions of Order. With some more demons and other notable figures. The cosmology. And I'm not going to show you everything. More artwork. Map of a realm. You got various maps of various realms. Noteworthy cities. Crests for various groups. I'm not going to show you everything in here. I'm just going to show you some examples of stuff. Another map of another realm. There's a lot of maps for realms in here. And then this is more specifically on each order, Grand Alliance. Sentinels of Order, the Stormcast Eternals. And their conflicts with various factions. The City of Sigmar. This book basically goes over a great deal of details, like the Seraphon, the Idenith Deepkin, the Sylvaneth, Lumineth Realm Lords, and so forth, Daughters of Cain. And Fire Slayers, Cauldron Overlords. Yet again, some beautiful artwork of various factions in combat. Examples of various models from each faction. And relating factions. Then it goes into Agents of Chaos. Blades of Khorne. Disciples of Tzeentch. Nurglkin, Hedonists of Slaanesh. Skaven. And then you got Beasts of Chaos in here. Some models from those factions as well. By the way, the demons, like the various demons from Tzeentch, Khorne, Nurgle, and Slaanesh, can be used in 40k as well. That's actually one of the cheapest armies, groups of armies to actually collect for. And that allows you to cross-move between multiple different game systems. However, not all models from Slaanesh or Nurgle can be used in 40k, and not all 40k Nurgle models can be used in Age of Sigmar. Just a lot of them do. Then we get into Death. You go through Demons, and then Bringers of Death section. Soulblight Gravelords, Flesh Eater Courts, Night Haunt, Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Got Nagash right there. Got some demons right there. Going up against Nagash and his army. Specifically the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. And Katakros right there. You got some more undead in model pictures. And then you get into the Harbingers of Destruction, the Grand Alliance Destruction, which has orcs, giants, etc., and goblins. And ogres. And the Chaos, the Destruction faction is going up against Order, specifically Stormcast Eternals, Gargants, which is basically their giants, ogres. Then you have the basic rules, how to play the game. This is actually, it looks rather complex, but it's actually rather simple. There's actually numerous videos on YouTube it's describing the battle phases and everything. And there's also instructions here on how to measure dependent on your movement type. Like if you're a flyer, you can simply measure from where you're standing to where you want to end. However, if you are a character that does not have the ability to fly, or any ability equivalent to flying, and you have to walk or run, you have to measure down to the ground and then measure away. Or if you're from the ground, you have to measure to the side and then measure up and then over to get your movement. And in this section, it basically just goes over all the rules for all your phases and what you do in your phases and the common mechanics that occur in a phase. And then we get into various battle plans and stuff like that. Some art from various people and their units. And then you got rules for open play. You also have rules in here for matched play and narrative play. Like, as you can see here, you typically will see Nagash in blue, gray, and such. However, it is perfectly fine in the Warhammer community to paint your characters however you want. The typical standard is 3 or more colors. This is the narrative play rules. Path to Glory. Narrative play is basically a campaign, like in a TTRPG, where your army goes from one faction to another battling, and as they win or lose battles, they gain experience points, essentially, and they gain access to various things, and they have to go through various sequences of resolution. Yet again, alternate art style for painting design for Stormcast Eternal. Rules on territories and terrain in here as well. Path to Glory Battle Pack. Various arrangements of battle plans for various combats. Like each color is a different faction except for gray, which is open space, and so forth. You got match play rules and maps for those. You got some more artwork with different paint schemes for units. Conquest Unbound, Siege Warfare, and so forth. You have a option for multiple players. You can have 4 players. If you are really clever, you can actually probably work this out to be even 6, 8, 8, or 10. And then you have a rules index in the back, as well as Path to Glory narrative play sheets for keeping track of the progress of your army, and your armory roster sheet for said narrative play Path to Glory. And then here in this pack, as I said before, there is battle cards or war scrolls down here, as well as a booklet up here. This booklet will typically have these in this pack. Typically, will have something like a book on how to assemble the units you have, the models you have, as well as a rule for specific campaigns or situations. You have your battle scrolls, which have your basic stats for the unit, and their weapon stats right here, and their saves for various things, as well as the effects or abilities right here, and general information, as well as the keywords down here, and faction information. And then on the other side is a piece of artwork for the model, or the model itself, and the name of it, and what faction it's tied to. And you get a bunch of those in here. A little band. I'm not going to show you them all. This is the Dominion book. This is basically the basic instruction booklet. Right over here on this side is all the sprues that are included in this box, and the letters and numbers tied to them, so you can match up to the instructions over here based on the appearance of the sprue. You got a chart for all the different sizes of bases and the exact size of the base by number. So if you happen to have, you're not sure what size base this is, you can always match it up to this chart, and it matches exactly. That is a 1-to-1 ratio, so it's exact size. You got basic instructions on how to construct your units. If your units have multiple options, they'll often have this little box up here stating that that is basically you have a choice between 2 different heads, or in the case of like weaponry, you can have a choice between different weapons. There's another example of multiple choice heads. Multiple choice heads. You can have choice between 2 different heads. Armored, unarmored. The most common one in Age of Sigmar is heads. However, there's also, say, like terrain pieces. Like you have a multiple option for different ground, like rocks, tufts of grass, and such. Or even multiple options for weapons. In case your character happens to have like an option for a spear and a sword, there will also be the selection for that. So that's all the Stormcast Eternals. It shows you the end result, that what they should roughly look like when you're done assembling them. And then it goes through the Kruleboyz on this side, and it shows you all the steps to snap them together and the end result, what you roughly get when you're done. And as I said before, it will show you multiple options, like different heads, different weapons, etc. you can attach to them. And goes through that way. And then you have the end result up here for your Kruleboyz, as well as the end result for your generals down here, as well as examples of painted models down here. And that's it for that. And then you got this Start Here book that comes in the packet as well. And this basically is another quick and simple overview of the game and getting started into it. So it basically describes in a simpler, shorter fashion than the core rulebook the lore, and then it also goes into explaining the specific factions in which you're using and the different models. The Knight-Arcanum, the Praetors, the Annihilators, the Vindictors, giving you basic information on each different model in the box. And then it goes into the Kruleboyz, gives you a quick explanation of the Kruleboyz. And then the Killaboss, the Swampcalla Shamans, and all the other fun stuff. Murknobs with Belcha-bannas. Man-skewer Boltboyz. Hardback blitzers. So it gives you basic lore information on your faction in this book. Some of these books sometimes will have a section on, yet again, another little section on the basic rules, but they didn't do that with this one. I guess they probably figured since it's all in the core rulebook, they're not going to do it twice. They just made sure that this book was specific to the lore of each individual model. However, you can always alter said lore. You could rename a general or something and paint them differently and say that they're a sister or a cousin of the regular general, but has basically the same abilities, and you're perfectly fine. Only the very small and irritable people will get upset that you repainted the color for Warhammer for a character and changed them and added new lore or a different alternate character. But anyways, that is the basic gist through of the Domination box for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This is a quite beautiful box, in fact, and is a good starting point. However, being that it is one of the limited starter boxes, it is going to get more expensive over time. And if you're not going to buy it soon, I would just probably go with the regular starter boxes, which I've shown you photos of the regular starter boxes, and I've given advice as far as my understanding and mathematics that are concerned, on how to properly start a Warhammer Age of Sigmar adventure. So thank you very much for watching this delightful video. If you want to see more of this content, please leave a like on the channel, on the video, or any videos of the content in which you enjoy. And please subscribe. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And see you next time.